This sign means A. You must drive slowly and sound your horn. B. A bus stop is ahead. C. You are entering a school's parking lot. D. A school zone is ahead. D. A school zone is ahead. Warning signs are used to warn drivers about upcoming hazardous conditions and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign tells drivers that they are approaching a school zone and that they should slow down and watch for children. This sign means A. Keep right. B. Low shoulder. C. No parking at any time. D. Lane ends. A. Keep right. Regulation signs regulate traffic speed and movement, displaying rules which drivers must obey. This regulation sign indicates that drivers should keep right to avoid an upcoming potential driving hazard. This sign means A. Yield. B. Crossroad ahead. C. Keep right. D. Yield ahead. A. Yield. Traffic signs with three sides of equal length warn drivers to slow down when approaching an intersection and to be prepared to come to a complete stop to yield to other drivers or pedestrians. Drivers may proceed when it is safe to do so. This sign means A. U-turns are prohibited. B. U-turns are permitted. C. Winding road ahead. D. Sharp left turn ahead. A. U-turns are prohibited. A regulatory sign displaying a red circle with a red slash through the middle indicates that a specific action is prohibited. U-turns are not permitted where this sign is posted.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
This sign means A. Watch for bicycles. B. Bicycles not allowed. C. Bicycle repair shop ahead. D. Bicycles have the right of way. A. Watch for bicycles. This sign provides advance warning that bicycles may be present. This sign means A. No right turn. B. You must turn right. C. Watch for traffic on your right. D. Don't park on the right side of the street. A. No right turn. A sign with a red circle and slash over a symbol indicates that the action represented by the symbol, in this example, a right turn, is not allowed. This road sign means A. Divided highway begins. B. A steep grade is ahead. C. The overpass ahead has a low clearance. D. Two lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions are about to merge. C. The overpass ahead has a low clearance. This sign warns that the overpass ahead has a low clearance. Do not proceed if your vehicle is taller than the height indicated, in this case, 13 feet, 6 inches. This road sign means A. Sharp right turn. B. A road joins from the right. C. The road ahead turns sharply right, then sharply left. D. Winding road ahead. C. The road ahead turns sharply right, then sharply left. This sign indicates that the road ahead turns sharply to the right and then sharply to the left. This road sign means A. One-way road. B. No right turn. C. Exit. D. Sharp right turn in the road ahead. D. Sharp right turn in the road ahead. This sign indicates that there is a sharp right turn ahead. This sign means A. One-way traffic. B. Divided highway ends. C. Two-way traffic. D. Keep left. B. Divided highway ends. Warning signs are usually diamond-shaped with black markings on a yellow background. They alert drivers to upcoming hazards. This sign indicates that the divided highway is about to end. When making a right turn on a green light, you must A. Maintain your normal driving speed. B. Stop and look for nearby police cars. C. Yield to pedestrians. D. Increase your normal driving speed. C. Yield to pedestrians. Unless a posted sign prohibits it, you may turn right or left at a steady green light. When turning, you must yield to other vehicles and pedestrians within the intersection. U-turns are allowed in business districts, cities, and towns only. A. On highways. B. At intersections. C. On four-lane roads. D. None of the above. B. At intersections. In business districts, cities, and towns, U-turns are allowed only at intersections. How can you help prevent rear-end collisions? A. Avoid sudden stops. B. Before stopping, check your mirrors and blind spots for traffic. C. Release the gas pedal and let your vehicle slow before applying the brakes. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Stopping suddenly can make it difficult for drivers behind you to avoid a rear-end collision. When stopping, release the accelerator to allow your vehicle to slow. Press the brake pedal by applying steady pressure, activating your brake lights and causing the vehicle to stop smoothly. If two drivers arrive at the same time to an open intersection, A. The driver on the right has the right of way. B. The driver on the left has the right of way. C. One driver may continue driving without stopping. D. One driver should honk to indicate that they are giving up the right of way. A. The driver on the right has the right of way. If you arrive to an open intersection at the same time as a vehicle to your right, you should yield the right of way to that vehicle. You may then proceed when it is safe to do so. What do speed limit signs indicate? A. Potential driving speeds for the area. B. The maximum or minimum speed that is legally allowed to be driven. C. The speed drivers should drive in heavy traffic. D. The speed drivers should drive under poor conditions. B. The maximum or minimum speed that is legally allowed to be driven. Speed limit signs indicate the maximum or minimum safe speed that is allowed to be driven on a roadway. The maximum limits are for ideal conditions and you must reduce your speed when conditions require it. How fast you drive does not affect the distance your vehicle travels after you brake to come to a stop. A. True. B. False. B. False. When driving in high-speed traffic, it is extremely important to stay well behind the vehicle in front of you. As your speed increases, the distance it will take for your vehicle to stop also increases. A steady yellow traffic signal means that a fill in the blank light will soon appear. A. Flashing yellow. B. Steady green. C. Steady red. D. Flashing red. C. Steady red. A steady yellow light on a traffic signal indicates that a steady red light will soon appear. An end school zone sign indicates A. That the speed limit is 20 miles per hour. B. The beginning of a reduced speed zone. C. The increased possibility of encountering pedestrians. D. The end of a reduced speed zone. D. The end of a reduced speed zone. Do not exceed the school zone speed limit during indicated times. The end of a reduced speed school zone will be indicated by an end school zone regulatory sign. Aggressive driving? A. Is legal but is not recommended. B. Is unavoidable. C. Can result in license suspension. D. Is harmless. C. Can result in license suspension. Aggressive driving is the act of driving while violating traffic laws with the intent of harassing or endangering other drivers. This dangerous driving behavior can result in license suspension for a period of between 10 days and 6 months. When getting ready to change lanes, you should A. Check your side view mirror. B. Check your rear view mirror. C. Quickly turn your head to check for other vehicles. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Before changing lanes, check your side and rearview mirrors for traffic approaching you from behind. Just before you begin moving into the other lane, quickly glance over your shoulder and check for any vehicles that may be in your blind spot. When completing an emergency roadside stop, it is not necessary to put on your parking brake. A. True. B. False. B. False. Set your parking brake when making an emergency roadside stop. Turn on your emergency flashers to alert other drivers to your presence. The most common color of warning signs is A. Red. B. Yellow. C. Green. D. Blue. B. Yellow. Most warning signs are diamond-shaped and yellow with black markings. These signs warn drivers about unexpected conditions that may not be readily apparent. A driver can legally pass on the right side of another vehicle. A. If the vehicle is waiting to turn left and there is an available passing lane. B. Even if it means driving off the pavement. C. On a narrow bridge. D. At any time. A. If the vehicle is waiting to turn left and there is an available passing lane. If there is an available passing lane, you may pass on the right of a vehicle or bicycle that is turning left or waiting to turn left. It is also legal to pass on the right when driving on a multi-lane road with 2 or more lanes traveling in the same direction. You may never drive off the pavement or main traveled portion of the road to pass another vehicle. A child under the age of 2 should be transported in A. A booster seat. B. A rear-facing car seat. C. The front seat of a car. D. A front-facing car seat. B. A rear-facing car seat. Children who are under the age of 8 and being transported in a moving vehicle must be properly secured in an approved child safety seat. Children under the age of 2 should be seated in a rear-facing car seat. Your vehicle's stopping distance increases when stopping. A. On a wet or icy road. B. On paved highways. C. When driving at night. D. All of the above. A. On a wet or icy road. Stopping distances increase on wet or icy roads. Stopping distances also increase on road surfaces covered in loose gravel or stones. Combining alcohol and drugs usually? A. Multiplies the effects of only the alcohol. B. Multiplies the effects of only the drugs. C. Multiplies the effects of both the drugs and the alcohol. D. Cancels out the effects of both the drugs and the alcohol. C. Multiplies the effects of both the drugs and the alcohol. Alcohol consumption can impact both legal and illegal controlled substances. Combining alcohol and drugs will often enhance the side effects of both substances, making it extremely dangerous for the consumer to drive. It's your responsibility to ensure that the vehicle you are driving is A. Properly registered. B. Insured. C. In good working order. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. All vehicles must be registered and you must have the registration card in your vehicle when operating it. All registered vehicles must comply with Virginia's insurance requirements. All drivers are responsible for ensuring the safety of themselves, their passengers, and other users of the road. A license will be suspended if a driver A. Refuses to submit to a chemical test. B. Drives 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. C. Honks their horn in a residential area after midnight. D. Does not turn off their high beam lights around another vehicle. A. Refuses to submit to a chemical test. By operating a vehicle on Virginia roadways, a driver automatically consents to taking a chemical test to determine their blood alcohol concentration, BAC, when requested to do so by an officer. If a driver refuses the test, their license can be suspended or revoked. A slow-moving vehicle emblem is A. A rectangular red sign. B. A circular green sign. C. A diamond-shaped yellow sign. D. A triangular orange sign. D. A triangular orange sign. The slow-moving vehicle symbol is a reflective orange triangle. Expect vehicles using this emblem to be driving at speeds of 25 miles per hour or slower. When changing lanes you should not A. Check your side and rear view mirrors. B. Give a turn signal to signal your intentions. C. Check for other drivers who may be moving into the same lane as you. D. Use your cell phone to contact the police to determine if the road ahead is clear. D. Use your cell phone to contact the police to determine if the road ahead is clear. Before changing lanes, check your side and rear view mirrors for traffic approaching you from behind. Use your turn signal to let other drivers know you plan to change lanes. Check for other drivers who also may be moving into the same lane. Searching does not include A. Looking ahead and behind. B. Trying to find your car in a parking lot. C. Checking from left to right and then left again before entering an intersection. D. Looking for clues in the road that indicate hazards. B. Trying to find your car in a parking lot. Searching refers to the habit of looking at the entire scene for anything that may come into your path. Good searching habits include looking ahead of and behind your vehicle, checking for clues on the road that may indicate hazards, looking left, then right, and then left again before entering an intersection, and being alert for special conditions in rural areas. A single broken yellow line down the center of a two-lane road indicates A. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are not permitted to pass. B. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. C. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are not permitted to pass. D. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. B. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. Yellow lines are used to separate traffic moving in opposite directions. Dashed lines indicate that drivers directly next to the line are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. When parking next to a curb, you may not park more than A. 6 inches from the curb. B. 1 foot from the curb. C. 18 inches from the curb. D. 2 feet from the curb. B. 1 foot from the curb. On a public road, you may not park more than 1 foot from the curb. You may avoid the risks of alcohol-related crashes by A. Deciding before you start drinking that you are not going to drive. B. Simply saying, "No thanks, I'm driving," if someone offers you a drink. C. Calling a taxi. D. Doing any of the above. D. Doing any of the above. The only way to avoid the risks of drinking and driving is to decide before you start drinking that you are not going to drive. Because alcohol affects your judgment, it will be harder for you to make safe decisions after you have started drinking. You do not have to stop for a school bus that is stopped with its red lights flashing if it is on a private road. A. True. B. False. B. False. When a school bus is stopped with its red lights flashing and stop arm out, other drivers are required to stop. This law applies to drivers traveling on both public and private roads.